What's up, everybody? Hello and welcome back to Planet Zoo. Well, I was already starting with the franchise mode, so the endless sandbox mode kind of, and I'm still going to continue there, but we are also having a career in Planet Zoo, and I thought it would be also a good demonstration to show what this game has to offer. And it has a story mode, it has some missions here. Some of those missions have been saved from the beta already, so we have the save file for Goodwin's house, but we're still going to play this. We are going to start with this one here. So we are going to help someone, some old guy, on our mission to capture and enslave as many animals as possible to put them on display for money. I mean, this is the ultimate message of what human species is capable of doing on this planet. And we're doing exactly that to please this old man. And he's actually called Bernard Goodwin. And in the 1980s, Goodwin House has since become one of the most respected zoos in the country. More recently, it has undergone a further renovation to update many of the habitats and facilities, but due to various issues, the work hasn't quite been completed. And this is where we need to come in and help him renovate his zoo.
Heyo at Hematu. Yeah. Oh, sorry about that. I have a habit of slipping back into the Planko language. It's good to finally meet you in person. I'm Bernard, although I insist you call me Bernie. The only person who calls me Bernard is my wife. And even then, only when I've tracked elephant dung into the carpets. As you know, I own several zoos, but I always like to show people the ropes here at my home. This is the first zoo I ever opened, and a source of great pride for me. And prides, thanks to a lion breeding program we ran in the 80s. But we're in the middle of a big renovation, and that's where you come in. Sadly, our old contractor had to retire after developing a fur allergy. Poor devil kept sneezing his dentures into the lion habitat. So, it's up to you to finish everything off. Don't worry, though. I'm not completely throwing you in at the deep end. My head keeper, Nancy Jones, will be lending a helping hand. Oh, she's a hard worker, and she'll expect you to be too. But I'm sure you'll get along like a house on fire, or even better, one that isn't on fire. Less shouting that way.
Hello there. From that rosy, fresh face of yours, I'm guessing you're Bernie's new hire. Good. Now, I hope you're ready to ditch your diploma because we're about to get really hands-on. But before we begin the real work, how about we familiarize you with the zoo by learning how to fly around it and visiting some of our beautiful animals? We'll start by popping over and having a look-see at the grizzly bears in their habitat. Did you know that grizzly bears, also known as Ursus arctos horribilis, can hibernate for up to 7 months a year? Oh, but then again, given the chance, I think a lot of people would do that too. Select one of the bears and you'll bring up its information panel. See now, this is a fantastic way to get a close look at your animals. You can also get this view of an animal by simply double-clicking on it.
Oh, and there we can see a beautiful bear
Let's pop over to the other side of the zoo and take
at
a
the side.
look at
And before we
lions.
continue, I just want to tell you, this
Marked
campaign kind of consists of the first 3 missions, which are tutorial missions. So I'm just going to do them real quick. And in this video, where we're kind of learning the controls of this game, and it's a bit of a story. It's really mainly about the story. And from mission 4 onwards, which is going to be the next video, then we're going to play the first real mission without tutorial, where we just have to build a zoo from scratch. So in this case, just enjoy this story, and we are getting some highlights of animals here as well, which is also pretty cool because the graphics are amazing.
Lions are the most social of the big cats, and there can be as many as 40 lions in a pride, although prides of that size are pretty rare. As Bernie would say, those lions are awesome, which is precisely why I handle the training instead these days. Anyway, how about we get started on those objectives? Come on, let's head over to an empty habitat and see what needs doing there. As you can see, it's a lovely space for animals, but it's missing a certain something. Well, 2 somethings. warthogs. So I'd like you to adopt a pair of them. To adopt animals, we need to open the animal market, which is in the animal trading section. There we are, a pair of perfectly splendid warthogs for our zoo. Just click on them and select Adopt from the side menu. Normally the animal exchange would be full of animals, but I've emptied out the market while you learn how it works. The last thing I need is you accidentally ordering a dozen elephants. When you adopt an animal, it's automatically placed in the trade centre, where they're held until you're ready to move them into their habitat, which, as it happens, you are. So how about you move them into their new home? When you ask for an animal to be moved into a habitat, your caretakers will go to the trade centre, collect your animal, and deliver them to your selected habitat. I've marked the trade centre's location, so let's go and watch the caretakers in action.
So far, performance is also really good. This is a big park, as you can see, and well, not much of a problem here maintaining 60 FPS at all times. We just have to wait now for the warthogs to being delivered. So that one here, I think we can also just trade history and rewards. No, they're not in a shelter anymore, so it's just there they are, the next animal type that we have now here, warthogs. 2 of them. Not the most beautiful animals, I have to admit. But they should still earn us quite some nice money there. Okay, locate the animal trading center over here.
Well, as you can see, those caretakers don't hang about. They'll move those animals to their destination as fast as possible. Of course, normally we'd have to place the animals into quarantine before moving them into a habitat, but I am assured by a person of good standing that these warthogs are in the very rudest of health. Right, let's get the warthog's habitat finished up so we can keep them nice and happy. You see, each animal in the zoo has an overall welfare statistic, basically how happy they are. And that overall welfare statistic is itself comprised of 4 different areas: nutrition, social health, habitat, and enrichment. Luckily, if you select an animal, you'll bring up their animal welfare information panel, which we saw earlier, where you can see how they're doing. That way, you'll know exactly what areas need to be addressed. Don't worry if that's a lot to remember. You can always check the Zoopedia for more information. Let's start by making sure we're taking care of the warthog's nutrition welfare. To do this, we'll need to place a food station and a drinking station. Now, each animal requires a different type of feeding station. And for the warthogs, it's a small feeding trough. So let's add one of those and a water bowl. Animals also require stimulation to keep them happy. Let's add a lovely mud bath for the warthogs to roll around in. That bath will count towards their enrichment welfare, specifically their toy enrichment welfare. Oh, nice work. You've got a knack for this, I see. Now, our contractor had to leave in a hurry, so this place is in a feral state. Unfinished thingamajigs and whatsits all over the shop. But the first thing we need to finish is the ostrich habitat. It's over near the hippos.
Okay, let's get over there to the next habitat. Oh, and as you can see, there's also train transportation in this game, which just looks beautiful.
Let's pause the game. Just click the pause button in the bottom right corner. Ah, that's more like it. A quick break. Sometimes it's a good idea to pause the game whilst you're doing something which requires your concentration, because it'll stop the zoo spinning out of control while you're looking the other way. Let's keep the game paused while we get this ostrich habitat built. Okay, job number 1 here is to add a habitat gate before we complete the barrier. Every habitat needs a habitat gate. After all, how else would the keepers get in and out? Just make sure it's hooked up to the path so the keepers can reach it. Good work! Remember, before you can place animals in any habitat, it has to have a full loop of connected barrier. Now, you've probably noticed that guests can't actually see into this habitat at the moment. At least not without a stepladder. but seeing as they're banned, I'd like you to select a piece of barrier and swap out the brick for a glass barrier so the guests can see in. There we go. Adding in more windows gives guests even more opportunities to see the animals in a habitat. It's always best to make sure the guests can get a good view into a habitat from the path they're walking on, because it makes them happy, and because this would be a pretty terrible zoo if they couldn't. The last thing we need to do is to add a donation box. You see, when guests enjoy the view of an animal, they'll make a donation. Just make sure you put them in easy-to-reach places, like near a viewing point. Donation boxes are one of the main sources of income for the zoo, so make sure you remember them. By the way, as well as pausing the game, you can speed the game up by clicking on the fast forward button.
Let's get some
Run
ostriches.
everything at 2 times and 5 times faster. It can be useful, especially if you're waiting for money to accumulate or for animals to be delivered to your habitat. Personally, I use it when I'm waiting for a brew to finish. All right, you've finished the habitat, so it's high time we adopted those ostriches, don't you think? Let's get 4 of them in here.
Okay, I've bought 4 and placing them here, so we just have to wait now again.
Habitat, you should get it ready for them. Add a suitable feeding station, water station, and an appropriate food enrichment item. It's often best to place things like enrichments and feeding stations near to the habitat perimeter.
And that was already the first tutorial mission, and we're just continuing now with the next one right away.
Welcome to Madagascar. It's quite the change of scenery from dreary old England, huh? Apart from the weather, I suppose. They don't call these places rainforests for nothing. The zoo you'll be working in is an ape sanctuary, where we're doing vitally important conservation work. Not just for apes, but for all kinds of species. But apes, well, apes are some of the closest relatives to humans there are. And yet, the way the world treats them is like, well, very much like some of us treat our actual relatives. Anyway, that's why I'm determined that our operation here does some good. If we can all leave some part of the world in a better state than we found it, we'll have lived lives worth living. And speaking of states, I have a horrible feeling I left the house in the right one. When I get back, I expect my life won't be worth living at all.
Please stop laughing.
Bit warm for my taste, to be honest. Anyway, this is Bernie's primate sanctuary. It's not just primates, though. We've got all sorts of animals. So why don't we go and have a look at some of them, eh? We'll start by taking a look at the red-ruffed lemurs. They're the ones that look like they should be in a Shakespeare play. Come on, let's head over to them.
Alrighty, and now it's finally time again to play ourselves. It's actually quite a nice looking zoo here, and I think I just have to click on that. On the highlighting area. Perfect, now we can get over there and highlight this one here. Locate it.
Red-ruffed lemurs are found in the rainforests of Masoala. That's in northeast Madagascar. They can actually live anywhere from 15 up to 25 years. Fancy that, eh? Okay, when you're ready, let's go find our Bornean orangutans.
Alrighty, so the first species and the second one should be far away from them on the other side of this, well, small zoo actually. And let's have a look at that. Let's highlight it and go close in.
The Bornean orangutan is such a marvellous creature. They're always a big favourite at any zoo they feature in. And they're also the biggest tree-dwelling animal on the planet. Assuming you don't count any lions that got stuck up one. Oh, why don't you take a better look at them? Open up their information panel and go into the animal camera.
Just gotta say, the animals are really well done. Like, huge details here. Look at that. Look at the hair. Very, very good. Let's have a look. We have to open up the camera mode. So we can follow it, I guess.
Aren't they just incredible? When you're ready, let's go and have a look-see at some of our beautiful bonobos. They're quite the characters.
Alright, and the bonobos are over here. Let's zoom in again and find them.
It looks like we've arrived just in time. One of the habitat's barriers has collapsed. And wouldn't you know it, one of the bonobos has made a run for it. We'll need to catch them.
Yeah, good for him.
We should box up the other bonobos.
Run, Forrest.
Escaping too. Select the habitat boundary to bring up the habitat information panel. Good. Now open the Animals tab. And click on Box All Animals to box up the remaining bonobos. Now,
Okay, let's box them up.
We'll need a vet to recapture that escaped bonobo, but it seems our last one left to do some research in the wild. Not an ideal situation. So, we'll need to hire a replacement, sharpish. Go into the zoo section and then into the staff management area. You can find all of your staff in here, but there's no time to go looking at their particulars at the moment. Hire a vet. Now, click on one of the paths to place the vet in your zoo. Great. Now let's deal with our escapee before they can cause too much havoc. Use the animal alerts to jump to the escaped bonobo.
Animal alerts, let's see where he is.
Then click on the call vet button to call the vet over to capture
He's
it.
just visiting the zoo now from the outside finally. And the people are
Okay, that's a
panicking
relief.
because
So
of it.
while the vet deals with our bonobo friend, let's go fix up their habitat so they can't escape again.
Oh guys, you
Head back
people.
over there.
It's just a bonobo. Alrighty. Actually running towards it. And it seems like it wants something from the ATM. Well, we're going to leave him alone there. I don't want to get his security number on this point. We're just going to look at the habitat here and probably have to
Someone's taken their eye off the ball, obviously.
repair it.
Let's get this one replaced. Select the barrier and then we'll edit it. Delete the broken section of barrier and replace it with a brand spanking new one.
Okay, I guess we need to delete it first before we can do anything here. And then we can hopefully do something here. Now it's gone.
Good. Now that we've done that, we need to make sure to add climb-proof barriers to the top. That way the bonobos won't be able to climb out. Just make sure you've got the correct piece of barrier selected when you do that. Okay, so go into the options section and select which side the climb-proof barrier needs to go on. And don't get it wrong. We're more worried about bonobos climbing out than guests climbing in. Nicely done. And I think it's high time we unbox those bonobos, wouldn't you say? The poor mites will get sad if we leave them in there for too long. Select the habitat barrier to bring up the habitat information panel again.
Alrighty, they're free again.
Turns out that as well as the old vet leaving, the zoo's mechanics did too. We'll need to hire a couple of new ones so we can help stop any more breakouts.
Sure thing.
You see, mechanics do all sorts of helpful things around the zoo, but one of their most important jobs
And that's
is
already
taking
it.
care of
That's the first
habitat
star
barriers.
in this
Without
tutorial
mechanics
mission.
around to repair them, the barriers will crack, crumble, and fall down.
And with that,
Ah, pandas. They're my daughter's favorite animal. I think it's fair to say that if ever there was an animal which has captured the public's imagination, it's pandas. Oh, well, that's assuming you ignore cats and dogs. Obviously, it'll take more than a cute bear to knock them off of the top spot. Oh, but did you know? Thanks to the incredible conservation work that's being done in China and around the world, pandas are no longer endangered. Amazing! That said, they're still considered vulnerable. So, this zoo is extraordinarily lucky and honored to be part of that conservation effort. It really speaks to our reputation, a reputation that you're going to be in charge of maintaining, along with all the general maintaining too. I really can't tell you how important the welfare of those pandas is. Oh, wait, I can. It is vitally important. The eyes of the world are on you, my friend. Although, perhaps more pressingly, the eyes of Nancy are on you too.
Welcome to China. This is Bernie's brand new Panda Celebration Zoo. So new, in fact, that it's not quite finished, but we'll deal with that later. First, let's take a tour of the zoo.
This is just absolutely amazing, those graphics, guys. Beautiful.
Luckily for us, we have one which was born just a few days ago. Let's go and have a look at it.
Okay, let's enter the panda animal camera.
Select the panda cub.
The panda cub, let's see. I don't see a cub here. I mean, we are in the panda habitat, right? Just so pretty. I mean, how can you build something like that in this game? You can build it, by the way, so it's definitely possible. There's the cub.
And click on the camera to enter animal camera mode.
So just look at him.
Oh, doesn't it just warm the cockles of your heart? So cute! Did you know that giant pandas, or Ailuropoda merinaluca for being formal, are the only entirely herbivorous bears? They can actually eat up to 38 kilos of bamboo a day. Not that surprising, given that they'll spend up to 14 hours a day chomping away. I don't imagine this little fluff ball has that kind of appetite yet, though. Oh no. I just got word from one of our keepers that a sable antelope was placed into a habitat without going through quarantine first, and that they're displaying signs of disease. We'll have to move them into quarantine to stop the infection from spreading to the other animals. To do that, go to the highlighted habitat, find the infected animal, and then select them to bring up their information panel. Oh, phew. That's a relief. Now that we've stopped the infection from spreading any further, we need to build a vet surgery so the antelope can be treated and then returned to his habitat. I've already highlighted where I'd like you to build it, so why don't we head over there?
Okay, so we have to build a vet surgery in this building here.
Facilities, staff facilities, and then vet surgeries.
There it is, vet surgery. And we have to just place it in here. And I guess with the right connection there to the street.
Vet surgeries play a very important role in a zoo, as they're the only places that vets can treat the animals. Once there's room for the antelope, the vet will pick them up from quarantine and bring them to the surgery.
Doesn't quite fit in though,
Yes,
but
diseases
well,
can
should do for
spread
now.
through a habitat quite easily, especially if the water inside it isn't being cleaned regularly. As it happens, I just got a report that one of our water treatment facilities has broken down, and the water in the flamingo and saltwater crocodile habitats has gotten dirty. I've highlighted the water treatment facility for you, so you should go and check it out. Click on the water treatment facility to bring up its information panel.
And there's the mechanic already. You need to call them. I think you need to call them every single time manually. I hope I'm wrong with that, because this could be problematic later down the road.
In 2 shakes of a lamb's tail. You can also use mechanics to repair power facilities, transport rides, spins, benches, signs, and, as you already know, habitat barriers. Now, I'll be honest, I'm still a little worried about that disease scare we had, so I think we should do some research into it. Doing research into a disease can help prevent future outbreaks of it. And even if we do have an outbreak, it'll make the disease much less potent. I'd like you to start some research into bordetalosis. Disease research can be found in vet research, so head over to your research centre and get one of the vets researching it.
Okay, so bordetalosis is what we need to research. The thing is, where is it? So we do have quite a few things here that we can, you know, kind of like research. We're already here in the research tree, and there's so much to research, seriously. The game is full of it, and we have to choose something probably with the antelope here, where we have that. But I don't see the diseases here in this case. Perhaps there's, oh, it's down here, perfect. There it is, bordetalosis, and we have to choose one of the vets. And that's already the first star.
We'll send that disease packing in no time.
And in this case, we're going for the silver, of course, as well, since it's the last tutorial mission.
That was a close-run thing with those antelopes. I dread to think what might have happened if you hadn't got them into quarantine as quickly as you did. fast thinking there. We had a horrible outbreak of viral gastroenteritis here at Goodwin House. Although, luckily, that was just limited to me and my wife.
And it's always dirty weather here. I mean, this is such a beautiful park and we can't see anything except the lightning, which is also pretty cool. And we have to research something new as far as I can see. So let's go into the research again. Where's the mission? Begin researching just a memento. I think it's for the mechanics.
Finally, assign a mechanic to research souvenir shops by dragging and dropping them onto it.
So here we have
to see what they come up with.
new buildings and stuff like that. Very important, especially for the franchise mode where you just don't have all those things. And here we can now go for
Great
just a
stuff.
memento.
That research will take a little while, so let's have a look at something else in the meantime. Because we've had some good news.
Oh, I think we got a baby panda.
It turns out that we're allowed to adopt more giant pandas. The authorities have given us 3 females to help with our breeding program. Even so, I'm sure you know how notoriously difficult it is to get pandas to breed, so we'll have to be patient. Our current giant panda habitat is full to the brim, but luckily we've already got another habitat ready to go. But before we move our new pandas in, they'll need to go through quarantine. Of course, we can't do that until we've accepted them. So open up animal trading and go into the animal reward section. Finally, we can send them from animal storage to quarantine. To do that, just select them in animal storage, then click Send to Zoo, and then click on the quarantine facility in the zoo. Don't worry, I've highlighted it for you so you can find it easily.
Okay, let's send them there, the 3 of them, to the quarantine zone, where they're being, I don't know,
While we wait for them to
quarantined.
clear quarantine, you should set up their new habitat so they feel at home in there. I'll also need you to bring over one of the male pandas from our other habitat, because without him, we're not going to have much of a breeding program, are we? So go on, move him over and get everything set up for your pandas.
But this is not a new habitat. We already have some pandas in here, as far as I can see. Move 1 male giant panda to the new habitat. Okay. Let's do that then. Now I just need to know where I can select that panda again. I mean, I know we have it in the quarantine zone. There it is. And 1 giant male. Oh, and it begins to snow as well now. Quite a lot of seasons in this zoo here. We do get some snow. Absolutely beautiful. Just changes like that. Move 1 male giant panda to the new habitat. Okay, so I need to select, I guess, 1 giant male in here. And I think they just ran away off to the warm shelter because it's snowing. Because I don't see any pandas in here anymore. And it's so freaking dark. It's never getting daylight anymore here. There is a panda. Let's try to select them. I think they're trying to get shelter down here. Yes, there they are. Perfect. There is a 1 giant male. And let's move him over here. That's the new one. Also looking pretty cool. And hopefully we're getting some daylight here soon. I think it's getting brighter now. And set up the giant panda habitat with a feeding station, food enrichment. Let's see if we can actually do that. Here we have that, and here we have food and stuff like that. First of all, we need to filter to the giant panda. Otherwise, we'll get probably wrong items that we can't use then for something like that. So first of all, we need to find the panda in here. It's a red panda, it doesn't matter. It's just the type that we need. You know, we need the water pipe for them to be able to drink something. And I also like to put them on display right where the glass walls are, so my visitors can actually see them drinking and stuff like that. Then we need a food enrichment, which is that one here. A dog ball, which kind of didn't work in this case. So perhaps we actually do need something else here then. Red panda. It's a giant panda. I can't find the... Oh, there it is. Perfect. There we have it. So actually they need different items. Okay, we need to get rid of that one here again, no problem. Easy. And then we have toy enrichment. This one here. Herb center. And terrain welfare needs to be 90% and plants welfare needs to be 90%. So we click on it and we have a look at what it needs. So actually it does need more short grass because there's way too much long grass in this habitat here. So let's do that. So long until both of those bars are green, which is now the case. And also with the plants, let's have a look at that. Plants coverage, it needs temperate plants in this case. So we go for the plants here again. We select the biome for the temperate zone. And then we can select, for example, some bamboo strips. That's exactly what we want to do here. And as you can see, the coverage is already going up and this makes them happier and also brings in more money then, because only happy animals actually give you money in the long term. Perfect. So the coverage is going up there now quite nicely. Actually, I don't want to hide the let's just have a little bamboo forest here. And as you can see, it goes up now, but it needs to be at 90%, so we still need to add a few of them.
Good news.
Perfect.
Our new female pandas have been given a clean bill of health. You'd best move them into the new habitat so they can settle in. And I hope you've made their habitat as comfy as possible, because animals will only breed if they're happy.
Sure thing. Let's select all of them and let's deliver them over here to the new one.
Bless. I think they'll be really happy in there. Fingers crossed we'll see some lovely new cubs sooner rather than later. Right. While they're being delivered, we'd better get on with something else. Oh, dear me. There's never any time to rest when you're running a zoo, is there? Well, unless you hit the pause button. Okay, I think it's time I taught you all about work zones. I know, they don't sound as interesting as the animals, but trust me, they're ever so useful. You see, work zones are a way of making sure that your staff concentrate on specific habitats or tasks within the zoo, so they aren't wandering off elsewhere when it's time to feed the animals or the like. So let's start by creating a new work zone and then assigning a keeper to it so that they know to look after the new pandas. To do that, go into the zoo section, then click on staff and then work zones. Now click on new work zone. To set up your new work zone, I'll need you to select the highlighted habitat gate, staff room and keeper hut. Oh, and don't forget to name it something useful. Once you're done, just go ahead and exit the work zone creator. Now
Okay, so hire and assign a worker to the new work zone, a keeper.
We don't want them getting distracted by other goings-on in the zoo. Go on, hire one. Then click on your new keeper to bring up their information panel and go to their employment tab. At the bottom, you can assign them to your new work zone from the drop-down menu. There you go. Now your keeper will focus his attention on our new pandas. Oh, and just so you know, all types of staff can be assigned work zones. Just make sure that they have access to all the buildings that they need. And one last thing, you might find it faster to assign them from the Work Zones tab in the Staff section of Zoo Management. That'll save you having to chase around selecting your staff one by one. Oh, it sounds like the brand research has been completed. You should collect your rewards, and you can do that by clicking on the notification or by going back into mechanic research.
Perfect.
Now that we've got our lovely new Just a Memento shop designed, you should build one of them near the zoo's exit. That way the guests won't miss it on their way out and we won't miss out on their money.
Okay, now where is the zoo entrance? Let's find it. It's a huge zoo, by the way. Must have been a lot of work doing stuff here. And there's the entrance as far as I can see, and we need to place it close to that. Place it. Actually, we can place it wherever we want to, I think. Let's do that over here. Outside the placement area. Okay, so I guess there is a special area where we actually do need to place it. There it is. Yeah, that was a bit difficult to see at first. And we also always have to unlock here the add to building, uncheck this one here. Otherwise, we can't do it because he's going to try to edit this building here where I'm going to place it, which is never really working out.
Oh, that's ever so wonderful, that is. Anyway, I'm just off for a moment, but I'm sure I'll have some more jobs for you to look at shortly.
Beautiful. And I think with that, we're going to leave the tutorial missions now and go for the first real mission. Stay tuned.
I can see why people keep foolishly forgetting that they're wild bears.